Hello good people, what's up? Welcome back to the stream. I'm just busy recording a melody part for this. When I say melody, I mean very atmospheric stuff. If you're new to the stream, I make Ableton Live or Creative Commons music and Ableton Live templates for download via everywhere. And I've been working on this Cyberpunk stuff for the last sort of 8 weeks or so. You can check the live stream history. You'll see a whole bunch of cool composition stuff happening there. And today I'm on track 8 of 10, the second pass. So I'm basically just going back through all 10 tracks that I'm going to be releasing as a pack and improving them. Doing a little bit of composition, but mostly just keeping an ear out for the mixing. And the idea here is to make the Ableton Live templates available and the music itself freely available for use in your own productions. So if you're making videos and games, you get to use this music in your own video and keep all of the ad rev and monetize it if you want, no problem. As long as you credit me as the original composer, we are square. So that's Creative Commons, and this is what sounds like a plucked instrument. It's like a Japanese koto type thing. Stream quality seems to be a little poor today, sorry about that. And feel free to drop a chat while I work. I enjoy chatting to people while I work, as you might know, if you rock up here regularly. How's your day going? What's keeping you busy? Yeah, I don't think that string part is really working. I mean, the modulation works. This kind of works too, but it's got to be like subtle. Let's see what happens if we bring it in here. Okay, it's not working because I haven't shortened the clip manually. Let's try it again. Okay, let's do that, but just a bit more subtle. Okay. When we call for subtle, we gotta call for one thing I do use a lot is utility -12. That is one of my favorites, so I'm adding it to the favorites right now. Okay, let's take that up 3. So if you're new to the stream or you're just stopping by to say hi, what is up? I'm going to be working on this ambient, broody, cyberpunk-themed piece today. Sounding pretty nice to me. Just got to work on these strings. So let's give it a listen. I feel like this whole thing needs to be just boosted. Good, except it must just come in a little bit later. It's got a mixer, track volume. Let's take this down. Let's just make it a fade in basically like that. So at this point, fade in's enough. I mean, back in the day it was all we did. Back before like minimal tech, basically, before like music made only on computers. Mixing discs were used, actual analog mixing discs were used to re-record outputs from whatever drum machines and sequences and synths. So you found a lot more fade-ins, but these days fade-ins are kind of rare. You don't actually hear songs anymore that have like a fade-in or a fade-out. It's kind of like a forgotten art, I think, the art of the fade-in. This is where it gets a bit weird. I've got these like what I call Radiohead strings going here. There's like, I'll just solo it out for you so you can hear it. This one, it's coming up over here, this one. Take a listen. So that's hitting the pitch bend, as you can see down here. Just tweaking the pitch bend down, and it's got a delay on it, so it's got a really trippy kind of feel. Alright, cool. Alright, that's that, kids. Now, we started out with this melodic Japanese pluck instrument, and then I kind of abandoned it. Maybe we should get some more of that going in here. I don't want to turn this into like too much of a melodic track because it's ambient and soundtrack and broody. Dark. I wish I could be more dark, but I can't. Just this good-hearted blonde dude. I'm the white knight. There, that's a nice moment. And let's get one in there. So I'm just going to hit record now and do a little bit of tweaking here. Goes to a new chapter where things really get a bit weird, and I'll give it a listen back later, and then things are kind of ramping up here, but not too much, because the actual vibe of the track can't tell too much of a story, because these people use these tracks in their like as backing music, and you can't really have like a mood being set when you've got 2 or 3 moods in a track, so you've got to just kind of limit it to something very simple, and this can be it. I mean, 2 minutes. Yeah, let's bring the sweep in there, that's cool. But bring it in sooner and also fade it up. So here we go. I'm just going to hold down this key and get a sweep recorded in here. There it is. And then in a minute what I'll do is I'll raise this volume up and just let this piece end with this kind of high-pitched buzz. And then cut. That's cool. What else I'm going to do is put a nice long reverb. So I've been listening to Signs of Life, who is an ambient music producer. Check him out on YouTube. I'm going to set his check the comment feed. Wait. Give me a sec. At Signs of Life on YouTube for ambient music releases and tuts. Okay, so I stuck his name in the comments, and so he's been listening to his stuff this week. He's kindly sent me a download link for his new stuff on Bandcamp. Him and another dude who work together as Astral Ascendant. So this is the type of stuff, I mean, this is a bit more like dark, but you get this kind of stuff from his channel, which is ambient music, very atmospheric and pulsing, driving, but this type of thing where you've got a long outro. Recently I heard one of his pieces that has really long tail, like a reverb tail that goes on for like 20 seconds or something. I was like, that's how you do it, man. You just kind of suspend suspense, you know. So I'm going to try that now. I'm going to try and put out like whatever this is, a 15-second reverb tail. Not sure why this texture channel and glitch is going on. Don't need that. Thank you. Bye-bye. And this sweep over here, we're going to get over to our favorites folder and make sure we've got a utility -12. Stick it on the end of that sweep. And then yank up the... Okay, so that's already on -12. Let's take it to -24 and then just show the... we could probably do automation, I guess, yeah. Show the automation in a new lane and take the mix up to... It won't be 24 dB, it'll be like... I think it's Alt to make fine adjustments. No, Alt is doing that. Okay, cool. Let's take it up to just, let's see what happens there. Yeah, this is taking it up in volume, like it. Okay, good. Now, what we want is this entire... We're going to experiment a bit with routing here. Routing and buses and stuff like that. First thing I'm going to do is add a new bus. And I'll call it mids bus or something like that. Bus mids. Okay. And I want just these string pad and melody channels. Anything that's got stuff on it. Melody, string, pad, but not texture. Okay, let's put all the textures together. I'm just doing a little bit of housekeeping here. Okay, so with string, pad, and melody, let's take these three and route them to the new bus, which is bus mids. And we make sure bus mids goes to the pre-master, not the master. That will enable us to get... yeah, to get a reverb send on just this channel, and I want that reverb send to be the hybrid reverb, seeing as it's not being used. It's being used in the lead and the sweep. So let's create a new one, seeing as B is not being used. Check this out. Okay, the echo is not being used, so we're going to just solo out the bus and pump up the echo and see what happens. See what happens here. Nothing is happening because we have to turn it to bus input. Okay, except not external in. Just those tracks that have been sent to it. 2, 3. So there's the bus mids. Now you can hear a lot. It's a lot different to how it was. So if I did it just without that bus, here's how it sounds. Okay, now let's do a volume match. This is about -6, I think. And there it is with the echo, which has got a bit of feedback to it. And it's very dark, and everything's being run through reverb, basically. And I think that's the main difference between my compositions and the ones I'm trying to emulate, is that everything is generally being run through these like reverb channels. I'm not using reverb enough. Now, what we can do is take the feedback, show that in a new lane, and then hike it up around about here to like not 100, because then it's just going to feedback infinitely. So it's here. Good. That already sounds quite nice, and that's just the echo on its own. This is actually more like a delay effect than a reverb effect, so maybe we should delete that feedback and throw this through a reverb too, and just a typical reverb where we get to control how long it feeds back for. We'll take the dry wet, we'll leave the dry wet at 100 for now, change it to high, and we'll take the decay time up at that point. So here's what we're trying to do. Decay time is going to be low. We'll turn this reverb off, and we'll take this decay time up at the marker. So let's find it. Here's the marker. Cool, and that's fine. Keep it at 1. Now what I'm going to do is just bring that reverb up. I'm going to crank it up right at the end here. Cool. Let's take it up. Decay time to like, what did I say, 15 seconds. Let's see if this works. So here's our standalone mids channel, and here comes the reverb. Big washout. It's going to end now. Let's try reverb first and decay time longer. with an earlier hike. So we've got a 30-second decay time. I'm going to have to fade it out because it's going to shoot over the track's actual ending, but here we go. Let's give it a bash. You up. Let's take the size all the way up. That's going to impact it for sure. This is really going to crunch my RAM, but anyway, let's try it out. Let's turn spin off and let's give it another play. See how it sounds. Just going to crank up the master just while we experiment with this. Oh, here it is. That's cool, but I'm not sure what is causing that humming sound. Is it feedback? Yeah, it is feedback, which means it's one of these values over here. Maybe I could just take that down. Okay, let's try it again. This is with the whole track now. Cool. So yeah, if you're into Ableton, drop me a line. Let me know what you're up to today. I enjoy chatting with other producers. I'm putting together this dark dystopian cyberpunk theme sort of music pack, which I release release it to wherever, streaming services, free music archive. It's Creative Commons music, so you can use it in your own productions. Just credit me, and I show up here every day 2 p.m. just to chat to people, meet people, make some progress. I was on a podcast this week talking about this stuff, which is quite cool. It gives me a little bit of hype. That's the main thing when you're like a 42-year-old guy. Hey, Gilp, what's happening, dude? Nice to see you again. Gilp says, I'm a huge fan of Signs of Life. I've listened to almost all his albums, and all his videos about space ambient music are bloody amazing. Highly recommend Sinfera record label. Yeah, Sinfera is his jam. So I think it might have been you that put me onto him. I contacted him, and I ended up doing like this 1-hour chat on his show, like on Sunday, and they published it. So there's a podcast interview, not interview, but like there's a podcast thing somewhere on his channel. I'll repost it on mine, but if you can find it, Harmonic Horizons podcast. I'm the most recent guest, and if it was you, put me onto him, and thanks, dude. It's been cool. It was nice to meet those guys, and yeah, it's always good to just connect with people on the same page, because you know, Creative Commons music is let's call it a field of limited opportunities. Yeah, slowly growing things. It's just the marginal gains, you know. You don't get any huge wins very often. It's mostly just meeting people, getting to know people. Yeah, appreciate you showing up here every day, man. You're like my most regular person. Here comes a big swell in volume. Something big, something big, something big. Cool. Still can't really get this thing to shut up. This humming sound. I wonder what it is. Should we try to find the source of it? I do want to find the source of it. It must just be the general... Because it's not feedback, because it's just something happening in the bass here. Not that. I think it's just something. Let's just find the culprit. I think it's going to be here. Yeah, there it is. Found it. It's the strings, and they're just hiking up their feedback a bit much. Okay, good. So I've got all these pad sounds going to this bus mids vibe now. So bus mids is gonna probably have a long There, that's good, but it's actually not long enough. I want it to be even longer, so let's do that. We'll space out the swell and then bring it in here. Cool, there we go. Yeah, Sinfera is a win. I'm listening to in FLAC at the moment some of the stuff of Sinfera. Oh, this crunching sucks so mad. Alright, that's it. I almost feel like this should delay. Good. And then we cut that reverb, so we actually mute it right here. Cut the reverb completely. Speaker on at the end point there. Gotcha. So here we go one more time with this outro sequence. Yeah. Okay. Oh, I can't actually hear it with this freaking CPU. Not bad. Alright, we've got 3 tracks here that are not being used at all. Gonna delete those, might free up some of the RAM. But I suspect it's the routing of my whole system here. Okay. Cool, not bad, dudes. Let's recolor that a grey. So we've got bus mids. Then we've got those. Then you've got these 2 texture layers, which are groups going to a glitch track. It's just basically OTT. I prefer buses to groups in Ableton. I just like seeing things, but I get that groups are valuable because you can you can kind of just easily, you know, route things and patch them together. But either way, I'm gonna undo that, and then these guys over here, these 3 over here, I'm gonna make sure that they all go to the bus texture channel, and that the bus texture channel goes to the premaster, and that it is the same color. Okay, so now it should be a bit louder, but let's just get our old favorite utility. So I'm kind of in the mixing stage now. I'm sort of doing a bit of composition, but point is we're making progress. That's what's important, because I want to get these tracks out to you guys, man. I don't like sitting on projects for like weeks and weeks and weeks. When I was back in the day, I was doing like every 30 days I was releasing like 10 new pieces of music, and not crap either. Well, some of it's crap, but it's stuff that I really like, you know, sweated over. So I'm kind of trying to help out with that now. Gilp says, just a tip, you may know already, you can just freeze the MIDI track that use too much CPU and maybe flatten them into audio. Yeah, that is pretty useful, thanks. There's a cool little hack around that too. I don't know if you know this, but if you freeze a track and then drag it into an audio track, it'll actually just produce the frozen audio. One problem, or one reason I don't want to do that is it just creates a bit of work for me later, because when I distribute these packs, try to keep the file sizes low. So if they're including bounced samples, bounced freezes, then that's the most, you know, that's the most space consuming stuff. That then I have like 4 freezes in a track, and they're 3 minutes long and they're 50 megs each, so it just boosts the whole pack size like by double. And it makes me need to go through another step when I'm in my final phase, which is checking all of the, oh wait, what am I doing? I'm showing you the process here. When I'm checking all of when I'm going through the process of bouncing, there's like a task list that I've got to do. I'm trying to keep it light. It is crap though, having that sound, so thanks for reminding me. I think I might do that more often. Okay, let's rename these text to text, and I'm just going to call this text tube, maybe because they don't really matter what they're called. And then lead and sweep. Lead is not being used. So again, it sounds like a texture channel. Right, and I've got that saved. Texture wine, radio wine. I've got that saved in the list of things that I'll be. That's not bad going for this particular stream. Let me just give it another listen. Oh yeah, Mono is enabled for that, for everything under 100. Yeah, I've been having a lot of fun with this stuff. Ooh, my dropped frames are terribly high. The shorter stream beam. I'll maybe bring that up a bit, reverb wise. Up. Want to hear this? Pretty subtle. The buzzing seems like it needs to have its low end sort of cut a bit. Yeah, I know. Sorry about the buffering issues, Gilp. I've got dropped frames of like 78%. I think it's just network related, to be honest. I haven't figured out how to properly cut and restart a stream without it causing problems. So. Yeah. Writing a note. Ugh. Okay, Redford, about to hit the bed, but glad to see you went back to it. Yeah, sure. Thanks for stopping by, Redford. I'm here basically decompressing.